Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
All right, we'll now be on the record in De Silva, 2025 TR 2243, State of Kansas versus Christopher John De Silva. Jared Regier for the state. Mr. De Silva in person and pro se. You are Chris De Silva, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, now I'm going to need you to take down your orange hoodie there for trial. Thank you, sir. And you are wanting to exercise your right to a bench trial. Is that right, Mr. De Silva?
Yes, Your Honor. I had it scheduled for the last time I saw you, and I guess I thought that's what the bench trial was going to be, and I scheduled for me for another hearing, and I guess so. I'm here for another hearing for the bench trial. This is the second time. I should have had a bench trial the first time I spoke to you.
I show the first time you were in court was November 20th, 2025 for first appearance, and you said you wished to contest your ticket. So we scheduled you for February 4th, 2026 at 9 a.m. You said you were going to be in Alaska for 3 months and asked to be scheduled in May. And we then had a conversation about the points on your license. And we set your hearing to February 4th, 2026 at 9 a.m. That you're trying to give you a little more time.
Right, that was supposed to be the hearing for that I was supposed to have for the bench trial.
Please let me talk. So
Sorry.
February 4th, 2026, we did come in for the traffic trial. Actually, it looks like we set that over to the 4th, and that's when you said you wanted to look into a bench trial, so we set the matter over to March 18th. So here we are. You want a bench trial? Is the state ready to present a bench trial?
The state is prepared, Your Honor, as a preliminary matter. In a last-minute attempt to resolve this matter short of trial, if the defendant is prepared to enter a guilty plea before this matter proceeds to trial upon waiving his right to counsel, the state would be prepared to recommend the scheduled fine as well as court costs. If this matter proceeds to trial, depending on the outcome, the state would put the court on notice that the state does intend to argue for elevated fines pursuant to KSA 82118 subsection C for reasons that will become clear depending on the outcome of said bench trial.
All right. Well, Mr. De Silva, you don't want to enter a plea. You want a trial, correct?
I should have had a trial last time I spoke to you.
All right. Look, sir, I don't know why you keep making that point, but it's not helping your cause any. If you think I did something wrong, you can appeal me on that issue as well as any other issue. But Mr. Regier, I don't think opening statements would help me. I think if you want to just call your first witness.
Very good, Your Honor. Is the court finding that the defendant has waived his right to counsel in this matter?
Well, this is a traffic infraction. It's not enhanceable, but Mr. De Silva, you know you have the right to hire an attorney. Do you know that you have had the right to hire an attorney?
Yeah, I know I should have had a bench trial the first time, February, 7th or 4th?
What are you doing, sir? Are you trying to say I've done something wrong here?
No, I'm just asking to see. Today was supposed to be the bench trial, or the last time I spoke to you actually was. So now I'm waiting 2 times now. You want to make it a third? Then I guess I could have a third bench trial. I'm just waiting for you to decide if you're willing to proceed, or is it something that's so important that you just can't let me go? And I could wait until another bench trial. Sure, go ahead. I'm not waiving my right. I'm gonna wait for the third time to give you a third time's a charm kind of thing. Bench trial, third time. Do you want to pick another date? What's available?
Are you asking for a continuance? Why you?
If you prefer, it's up to you.
No, I prefer to get this thing resolved. I prefer to go to bench trial today. I don't know why you keep saying that you need a third time charge.
I mean, I'm not pleading, I'm gonna plead not, I'm gonna plead innocent and, that, I did a good job driving and, you guys are just trying to extort me for cash. It's all in the memo. It's all in the recording that you have. And, if you review it from the officer's dash cam and, officer's, body cam footage, you will, obviously recognize that you want $50 for that and a trial. So if you want to pick a date and a time, we could conference then. I'm not arguing with you in your courtroom or your state. Really respect your time and your compassion and consideration.
You just said you guys are trying to extort me. I don't know who you mean by you guys. Do you want to tell me who
Oh,
you
just
think is?
$50 for the footage is kind of like an extortion, bribery. You're trying to make me pay for something that you already have footage of. It should be provided. I'm paying for the fine.
I
I'm
think
paying
you
you
better.
guys.
I think you better take stock of where you are, and I think you better realize you're really about to be found in contempt if you keep calling the court an extortionist. If you keep calling
That's
someone
fact.
in this docket guilty of bribery.
Your
I,
Honor,
Miss Michelle, do you really want to get into this? Go ahead.
I am so sorry to interrupt, but I think I can shed some light on what he's talking about.
I'd rather you not, unless he calls you as a witness.
Okay.
Thank you. The giving you the best benefit of the doubt. You're talking about you didn't like the fact that you had to pay for discovery records, maybe. I don't know, but Mr. Regier, he wants a trial. I think we better get into that trial before I have to find him in contempt the way he's talking.
Very
You
good,
need-
Very good, Your Honor.
All right.
Your
Are
Honor,
there any opening statements? The defendant's kind of already given his.
Your Honor, the state would waive opening statements at this time and call Trooper Adams to the stand.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. You may lower your hand. Before we go further, Mr. Da Silva, I want to make sure, were you asking me to continue this for a third time, as you called it?
If you
Are you?
prefer, yeah, I just wanted to
Well,
get the footage. If I'm going to be paying, I want to be able to present that in court.
have you filed a motion for discovery to get footage of whatever you're talking about?
Yeah, but you guys want a fee, $50 fee. So, what is
Sir,
that?
I am not a party to this case. I have not asked you for a $50 fee. I have not tried to bribe you, and I have certainly not tried to extort you. Do you want to maintain that position? Are you wanting another judge? You think that somehow I'm a corrupt judge and you need one that isn't? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
ma'am. No, ma'am.
Now, what is this $50 you're talking about? Did you try to get
That's what the message said.
some dash cam footage or some body cam footage?
Yeah, I just wanted that to be played at the conference with you today.
And who did you ask that from?
Through the message I was mailed through the internet, my email.
Who did you ask it from specifically?
The sender who sent the message so I could log in with you.
All right, so the clerk sent you the Zoom codes and you tried to get the clerk to give you the body cam footage?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, that's not the way it works, sir. And if you'd hire an attorney, you'd know that. She does not have the evidence in this case. That's Mr. Regier and the trooper. Those are the ones you have to ask subpoena records and ask for discovery from. And if they charge a fee to reproduce the evidence, as long as it's a reasonable fee, they're entitled to. So if you're filing some kind of oral objection to the filing fee or to the discovery fee, overruled. If you're requesting for a third continuance of this hearing, denied. Mr. Regier, please proceed.
One moment, Your Honor.
And for the record, we're going to trial on one count, speeding 75 and a 65. That's what the evidence needs to address.
Your Honor, just to be clear, is the court denying apparent oral motions for discovery and continuance in this matter?
At this late moment, yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again,
my understanding is he asked them of the clerk, and now I understand at the last minute he's asking them of the court, and so denied. Go ahead.
thank you, Your Honor. Again, the state calls Trooper Adams to the stand.
Trooper Adams, you're still under oath. Please proceed.
Would you please state your name for the record?
I'm Trooper Malachi Adams.
And where are you employed?
I am employed with the state of Kansas for the Kansas Highway Patrol.
And what is your professional title with the Kansas Highway Patrol?
Trooper.
And how long have you worked as a law enforcement officer?
I've been a law enforcement officer since 2023. I've been with the Kansas Highway Patrol since 2023.
Do you have experience working in law enforcement prior to 2023?
No, I do not.
Okay. Were you on active duty in professional capacity on October 1st, 2025 at approximately 9:04 a.m.?
Yes, I was.
And where were you at that time?
I was in Butler County, Kansas, and on US 400 at around mile marker 311.
When you say on US 400, were you in a vehicle of some kind?
Yes, I was in my well-marked patrol vehicle.
Okay. And when you say well marked, could you please describe for the record what you mean by that?
It is a slick top. I drive a 2023 Dodge Charger. It is a slick top with my badge number and vehicle number markings on the roof. And it has yellow badges on both door panels, both front door panels. And it has a Thunderstruck grill guard on the front as well.
Okay. And these yellow badges and other indicia that you've referred to, how would you describe the size of these items?
Approximately 3 feet in height and maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet in width.
Okay. And what direction were you facing at the time in your marked patrol vehicle?
I was stationary facing westbound.
Okay. Would you describe this area, as you recall it, as a rural area?
Yes, I would.
Do you consider US 400 to be a highway?
Yes, I do.
Is that a state or federal highway, if you know?
U400 is a federal highway. It's a United States highway.
At this location, would you describe US 400 as more curving or a straight shot?
In this area, it is straight with some small hills.
Okay. Do you recall if there are any trees near the roadway in this area?
It's mostly open field in that area. There are a few trees, but they're not near the roadway.
Okay. What was the weather like at the time?
It was a sunny day that day. Clear skies, no fog, just clear view.
And did any of these aspects of the location that you've previously referred to impair your field of vision in any way?
No, not at all.
Okay. Trooper, are you familiar with KSA 8-1558?
Yes, I am.
And what does that say about drivers and maximum speed limits?
They have to follow the maximum posted speed limit that they're not supposed to go over.
Okay. And when you say they, is that in reference to a particular class of drivers?
Anybody that's operating the vehicle.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I respectfully request the court take judicial notice of KSA 8-1558.
So taken.
Trooper, do you consider yourself capable of identifying traffic violations on site?
Yes.
Besides your approximate 3 years of experience in law enforcement, do you have any recurring or one-time training that allows you to identify traffic violations when you see them?
Yes, I go through yearly in-service training. I am also radar and LiDAR certified.
And are you expected to complete this yearly in-service training to maintain your certification as a law enforcement officer?
Yes, I have to.
Okay. And are you current on your annual training obligations at this time?
Yes, I am current and up to date.
Okay. On October 1st, 2025, at approximately 9:04 a.m., did you see any acts that you consider traffic violations?
Yes, I did.
And what did you see?
I saw a white Dodge Journey traveling eastbound on U400 at what I observed as a high rate of speed.
Besides your own observations, did you use any specialized equipment to check this Dodge's speed?
Yes, I used my Stalker DSR
Okay.
in-car, my in-car radar.
Okay.
I checked its speed coming towards me.
Okay. And you mentioned this previously, but this in-car radar that you refer to, is that one of the equipments that you are certified to use?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you use testing on this stalker radar to check that it's working properly?
Yes, I do.
Could you please describe this testing for the court?
At the beginning in each shift, I do an internal functions test of the radar to ensure that it's functioning the appropriate way.
Okay. And this testing that you refer to, that occurs twice during every shift?
Yes.
Okay. Can you think of any situations where you might have deviated from this custom of conducting this testing at the beginning or end of every shift?
I cannot think of one.
Okay. Suppose that this testing resulted in a finding that the stalker radar was not working properly. What would happen then?
If my radar was not working properly, I would not have used it that day.
Okay. Would you have used it the next day?
If my internal function test showed that it was back to its current standard, the correct standard, then yes, I would have used it.
Okay.
But if it still showed it was not good, then I would not have been using it.
Okay. So is it your testimony that the successfulness of this testing is dependent on whether or not the stalker radar gets used for law enforcement purposes?
Correct.
Okay. On October 1st, 2025, at approximately 9:04 a.m., was the stalker radar in your vehicle in fact working properly?
Yes.
Did you conduct the testing that you referred to prior to that date and time?
I did, yes.
When?
At the beginning of my shift.
Okay. And did you receive any indication to suggest that the stalker radar was not working properly?
No, I did not.
Did you receive an indication that it was not working properly after the date and time in question?
I did not know.
Okay. Can you confirm that this Dodge was specifically clocked by the stalker radar?
Yes, it was checked by my stalker radar.
And how do you know that?
I had visual and audio confirmation that that was the vehicle that my radar was picking up, and then as well as the on-screen data from my stalker.
Okay. What is the posted speed where you were at?
It is 65 miles an hour.
And then what speed did the stalker radar measure this Dodge driving at?
So I initially checked the Dodge's speed at 80 miles an hour.
Okay. Did you ever successfully conduct a traffic stop on this Dodge?
Yes, I did.
Where did this stop take place?
It happened on U400 at around mile marker 315.
And this mile marker 315 area, is that still within Butler County?
That's still within Butler County.
Okay. Do you see the, well, let me go back a bit. Once you conducted the stop, did you speak to the driver of this Dodge?
I did.
Do you see the driver of this Dodge present in the Zoom conference?
I do.
Could you please point the driver out and give a brief description for the court?
Now the driver's, he's in the call. He's wearing a high-vis jacket, and it looks like he's wearing some suspenders or overalls or coveralls of some sort. He looks like he's in a room. There's a door behind him, and someone had just walked in.
And this high-vis jacket that you referred to, what is the color that you see?
It is orange with reflective stripes.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
The record shall so reflect.
Hmm.
And Mr. Regier, could you clarify what speed the officer obtained with his radar? I thought he said 70. Did I hear that right?
I'll re-ask the question if the court will permit me, Your Honor.
I wish you would. Thank you.
Trooper, when you initially measured the driver's speed using the stock radar, what speed did you determine?
I initially checked the speed at 80 miles an hour in a
Okay.
65-mile-an-hour zone.
Okay. And again, do you stand by your earlier identification on the record as to the driver of the Dodge in this Zoom conference?
Yes.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Again, the record shall so reflect.
During the stop, did the defendant ever provide you with official identification?
Yes, he did.
And what was this official identification?
He handed me a Kansas driver's license.
Okay. Did you ever discuss the defendant speeding with the defendant?
Yes, I did.
Did the defendant admit to speeding during the stop?
He admitted that he was tired and was just wanted to go back home.
Okay. Did you ever write the defendant's citation for speeding 75 miles per hour in a 65-mile-per-hour zone?
Yes, I did.
Why did you write the defendant for 75 miles per hour specifically as opposed to, say, 80 miles per hour?
With my contact with the subject, it seemed that with the story he gave me, that he needed just a little bit of leniency from me with some discretion on my end.
And was it based off of this determination in your professional capacity that you wrote the defendant a citation for 75 miles per hour specifically?
Yes.
Okay. Barring and a redirect, no further questions.
All right, Mr. De Silva, this is your chance to ask questions of the trooper, not to make statements of your own yet, but to question him if you wish.
No, it's okay, Your Honor. I'll just pay the fine and respect the trooper's judgment on point when I
Wait a
spoke
minute.
to him.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so you have no questions of this officer, is that right?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Regier, any other evidence?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, the state rests.
The state does so rest, Your Honor.
All right, now, Mr. Silva, you want to make a statement to the court?
No, I'll pay the judgment of what you're requesting.
So you're wanting to cancel the trial, plead guilty and pay, is that right?
Can I plead no contest?
You can
Right.
plead no contest if you wish, but
Thank
you
you.
want
And then
you want to stop the trial right now and plead no contest, is that right?
yes, Your Honor.
All right, is anyone making you give up the right to conclude this trial? Do you feel like anyone's forcing you to quit the
No.
trial midstream?
No.
You want to do this of your own free will?
Yes, Your Honor.
You know that we can continue and that we're to the point where you can
No.
present evidence of your own if you wish.
No, it's okay.
All right. By pleading no contest, you're saying you don't want to admit the evidence herein, but you don't want to deny it and finish the trial, right?
You're correct.
And no one's making you do this procedure where you stop the trial midstream.
Right.
All right. Well, I'm going to find that the defendant is knowingly and voluntarily entering a no contest plea. I'm also going to find the state has already provided a factual basis to support that plea through the officer's testimony. So I am finding the defendant guilty based on his plea. And
Your Honor, the state does wish to be heard on the issue of disposition as previously indicated prior to the trial.
all right, please proceed, Mr. Regier, to make your recommendations for sentencing.
Your Honor, the state does acknowledge that the charge before the court, 75 and a 65, the scheduled fine pursuant to KSA 82118, subsection C is $45, as well as the imposition of court costs However, in addition to testimony on the record, the states understand that this is a defendant with two other cases. That is Greenwood County 25 TR 0547 and 25 and Kiowa County 25 TR 0383. The state is aware of separate journal entries in both of those cases, which the state would move the court to take judicial notice of. In the Greenwood County case, the state, which would appear to have been signed by Your Honor, that matter proceeded to bench trial, and the court did find the defendant guilty of speeding under KSA 8-1558 on December 19th of 2025. In the Kiowa County case, the journal entry refers to another bench trial occurring on December 9th, 2025, also involving this defendant, and also where the court found the defendant guilty in that matter. State's information is that in both of these cases, there was one alleged count of speeding under KSA 8-1558, with both of those cases having offense dates of October 1st, 2025. The state mentions that because the ticket in this matter also has an occurrence date of October 1st, 2025, i.e. 3 separate speeding tickets all on the same day. With that being said, in addition to court costs, the state is recommending a $300 fine, which the state does respectfully submit is appropriate under these circumstances.
Well, I'm looking at those records on the state Odyssey system, and I do find exactly what you're saying. I see also, I think WL would be Wilson County. There's a offense date of October 9th, 2025. Disposition December 18th of 25. It says DBP, though I'm not sure what that would be. Unless, clerk, do you know what DBP means on that? Is that some kind of disposition pending?
What's that case number, Your Honor?
It looks like it's WL 2025 TR 1213. If you pull up the case history summary for this defendant on Odyssey, it's the last one in the list.
That appears to be a speeding ticket that was.
See where it says disposition, December 18th, 25 DBP. And I know the GP up there on that one is guilty plea, but I don't know what all those codes are.
It was dismissed by prosecutor.
Ah, okay. So that one was dismissed. Okay. And that may be why you didn't bring it up, Mr. Regier.
That would be the state's understanding, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. De Silva, the state is asking me to enhance your fine considerably from the scheduled $45 fine up to $300 because you had 3 tickets issued all on the date of October 1st, 2025. Looks like 2 of them were disposed of in December of 2025. Of course, the one here is pending this hearing today. Do you have anything you want to say about his recommendation?
Yeah, well, I had a malfunctioning dashboard in the vehicle that I purchased, and also I had to go potty that day, and also I was leery about the by traffic that I was traveling by, and I wasn't really involved in any kind of close call with a vehicle kind of incident other than the traveling violation. I'm still asking for a reduction due to the cost. I can't afford rent right now as is. Putting an extra cost on the amount would pretty much put me in a bad batter up kind of position. And I guess, each amount is kind of like ammunition. I can't really afford to pay the ticket as is today, or else I would have already paid it. So I'm asking for the cart cost as it stays and not increasing it as the prosecutor suggests.
Well, I'm always hesitant to increase fines to avoid the appearance that the defendant is penalized for exercising his right to trial. In that instance, I normally would go with the scheduled fine, but I'm also troubled by the fact that the defendant does have convictions for 2 speeding tickets on the very same day that he's pleaded guilty to in this case, and that he's pleaded no contest to, and the officer has provided testimonial factual basis to.
And Your Honor, for purposes of the record, the state would have it noted that the state's recommendations is based solely on events occurring prior to today's date and has nothing to do with the defendant's exercise of his right to a trial, as it is his right, and the state does not make any recommendations insofar as the exercise of that right is concerned.
And I find that there's that is most likely I find that I agree with you. Okay, well, yeah. I'm going to triple your fine. I'm going to make it $135. I'm not going to go with the 300, but I am going to triple it because of the fact that this was your 3rd one that day after you'd already been given tickets by 2 other authorities. And to that, I have to add your court costs of $108. So I believe that comes to $243. And yes, I will most definitely give you some time to pay that. How much time have you paid the tickets in any of the other cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Okay. All right. How much time do you need to pay? $243?
Well, I don't have a real job right now, so I don't know. Pick a date and I'll just turn myself in.
Well, the way it works is if you don't pay it by the date ordered, then your license can be suspended by the state up and peek at the licensing folks. How about 90 days? Would that be enough?
I'll try to see if I could do anything in between then, yes, without committing another sin.
Well, I don't know about your sins, but you did commit a violation of the law. I'll leave your sins up to you and God and your church, but pay within 90. I can give you 120 if you need a little more time.
Sure, that'll work.
All right, 120 days. You did enter the no contest plea and waive your right to finish in the trial, so I don't see this as appealable. But if you do feel you have grounds to appeal it, that would have to be filed within 14 days, and your appeal bond would be $243 in this matter. You'll pay to the clerk of the district court. Like I said, make sure you pay it or they'll suspend your license, and then your problems are really going to snowball. I don't know if your speedometer's off or if you just like to drive fast, but you better slow down, sir. All right, nothing further. We'll be in recess. Thank you, Trooper Adams. You may go at this time.
And the state would likewise thank Trooper Adams for honoring his subpoena this afternoon.
And Mr. De Silva, thank you for being here and exercising your right to trial. You are excused from these proceedings today.
Thank you, Your Honor, for your service as well, and thank everybody else who attended.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You may go, sir.
All right. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Thank you, officer.
Take off that orange hoodie, son, we're on the record now. He said he's off to Alaska, but he's back in Kansas somehow. He wanted a bench trial back in 25, now he's arguing dates just to stay alive. Oh, it's the Kansas courtroom carousel where the schedules are messy and the defendants, well, just slow down your car and pay the court clerk because this legal snowball is starting to work.